Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. That's right, I am back from vacation. What a vacation I needed. I put in the hard work, and so I deserve a beautiful and nice and not relaxing vacation. I'm absolutely exhausted. Sometimes when you go on vacation, you have family come over back to back. Believe me, you're not really getting any rest. But nonetheless, let's get into this video today. Let's get into this great information so you guys can be free of your financial hardship and start to be investors and home owners. Let's get into it, family. All right. So one of the main issues in our community is that we lack the financial savviness. We lack the financial information of doing some of the most basic things with our money. Our parents didn't teach us anything about financial literacy and understanding what we need to do with our paychecks, our income, and how to multiply that. Now, one of the first things, and I'm not going to go through my 4 tiers of money, which is budgeting, getting out of debt, saving, investing, and not all encompassing your credit. And we're not going to talk about the 4 tiers of money, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about budgeting, which is one of the most important things that you can absolutely do after savings. But we're going to talk about budgeting, investing, and home ownership because that's one of the things that growing up that no one taught us about. You should strive, you should save, you should invest, you should sacrifice to have a home, to have your own property. And that's one of the things I want to get into today, ladies and gentlemen. How we're going to get there is through a lot of information that is very, very basic and very easy to do, okay? So we need to look at things very differently than what we've been told and what we've been taught. Because when I think about budgeting on its very, very hallmark, it's a very easy thing. Because when you think about budgeting is one of the most foundational financial topics of personal finance that everyone should know. I mean, budgeting is deciding how you will allocate, how you will divide all of your money. It involves figuring out exactly how much you earn each month and where it's going to go. Now, some people you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. So, of course, you use this, which is applicable to your own situation, okay? But keep in mind that budgeting is not perfection. It's about the review, your progress, and the implementation of you budgeting. Because if you struggle initially, over time, if you stay committed, you'll get better with budgeting. Can I say that again? Over time, if you stay committed, you will get better with budgeting. Okay, you will absolutely get better with budgeting. Now, there are some budgeting methods that may assist you. There's not necessarily one right way to budget. Instead, it's about finding the strategy that works best for you. There are several different budgeting methods that people have had success with. I mean, if we go over a couple of them, what about the 50-30-20 budget? That's the 50-30-20 budget. I mean, using this particular budget, it's based upon percentage. It's a percentage budgeting system. You allocate 50% of your budget to needs such as housing, insurance, and transportation. 30% of your income goes toward wants, which can be eating out, shopping, travel, and more. Finally, 20% of your income goes towards saving and debt. This budgeting system is popular, but not likely the ideal for people with what? Significant debt to pay off. That's why I'm focused on budgeting, because budgeting also encompassing your debt. Now, the reason why I gave you the 50-30-20 budget, of course, there's a lot of other budgets with these same sort of method, but different percentages. It's because some of you are still in spending mode. Some of you are still in splurging mode. Some of you are still into ball till you fall mode. Some of you are still in I got to have it mode. So the 50-30-20, where you're spending 30% of the money of your income coming in on the things that you want. Because I want to get you on a road to redemption. I want you to get on the road to success. And this is one of the ways if you can't just bite down and sacrifice for a couple of months. So 50, 30, 20 is probably a good one for you. Now, as we get more serious about it, and this for you guys who didn't understand what the 50-30 budget, again, 50% of your budget goes to your housing or your rent. Also your insurances, your car and your transportation, your car note, all of those things. Then 30% goes on the things that you want, okay? Eating out, shopping, travel, etc. Then finally your 20% goes to your savings and your debt. Now, as we get a little more serious, you have the zero-based budget. Using the zero-based budget method, you plan your spending by taking your total monthly income and allocating it to budget categories until you have zero, okay? You budget until you have zero. That means money has a place. Every dollar has a place. Every cent has a home. The premise of this particular system is that you find a job for every single dollar. Every dollar is working somewhere. Even if that job is saving or paying off debt, it's still working. It's not just sitting in your bank account, okay? It's just not sitting in your bank account. Now, you have to pay yourself first. You heard this many, many times before. But paying yourself first budgeting method is also known as reverse budgeting. When you pay yourself first, reverse budgeting. Using this method, you figure out how much you want to pay yourself each month, meaning how much you want to put toward your savings and debt goals. You see how budgeting encompassing your savings and your debt? Because how can you budget every dollar having a job or a place and a home if you do not encompass your savings and your debt? Now from there, you can spend whatever is left over. There's another method called the envelope system. This has worked for many, many people, especially our grandfathers and grandmothers. I didn't really see my mom or dad or any of my other friends' moms or dad do the envelope system, but I've seen it in my grandfather, grandmother, and some other family members of that baby boomer generation. And I've seen recently a lot of people are going back to the envelope system. I've seen digital envelope systems where everything is on an app or a website and or both. And I've seen people do it old school where they actually go out and buy some envelopes and put money in envelopes for each bill. Would it be your mortgage? They might maybe write a check or just write on the envelope. Here's the thing. Nowadays, everything is electronic. Everything is digital. So people are not necessarily putting money in envelopes like they used to do back in the day. What they're doing now, they're at least writing the amount on the envelope and writing what is it for. Okay, mortgage, $1,500. Car note, $300, insurance, $200, etc. Because the envelope system can be used in conjunction with any other type of budget. I mean, using this strategy, you have an envelope for each spending category. In that envelope is the cash available, or you have the cash available in your bank account, but you're depicting it on the envelope to spend for that current month. Now, when the envelope is empty, or when that part of your bank account from you connecting that envelope is empty, you're done spending in that category for the month. Very, very easy. Excuse me, family. Now, there are some other things that we're talking about because now we're living in the 21st century and that we have a lot of technology at our fingertips that our grandfathers and grandmothers didn't have. So there are many budgeting apps on the market, some free, some you have to pay for, to help you plan your spending and track your expenses throughout the month, throughout the week. Now, some of the most popular budgeting apps on the market that I have used are Mint, M-I-N-T. You Need a Budget, also known as YNAB. You Need a Budget, also Personal Capital, and then Every Dollar. Now, I didn't use Personal Capital, so I can't speak to it, but I've used Every Dollar. I've used You Need a Budget, which is a paid for app, but it works very, very well. It does very, very well. You Need a Budget. And also Mint. Mint is free and also have some paid options within the app, okay? So let's move on, though, because that's just straight budgeting, okay? That's just straight budgeting. But I think that the one thing that we miss out on is investing. Investing can be intimidating. I remember growing up talking to my family about investing. Like I mentioned it, I heard it, They say, I'm not putting my money in that. I don't know where it's going. You know, we have some of them old school parents that want to put their money under the mattress or in a jar in the closet, or we do all these little funky weird things, but guess what? It doesn't help your pocketbook. It doesn't help your wallet. It doesn't help you exponentially grow your money, because living in a system of fiat it's a recurring revolving system of debt, but you can multiply on that debt through the way of investing. I mean, think about it when I mean that. Meaning that you can go on a platform like Robinhood and you can leverage their money against themselves, meaning they have Robinhood Gold, and you can essentially borrow money that's not yours to invest, multiply on it, and the leveraging is not your money. Now, what I'm about to say may sound a little bit not the best financial information, but I'll just say this. At the end of the day, if your investment goes belly up, you didn't lose your money, you lost their money, but you owe them money. But you know how we used to do it back in the day, the bill collectors used to call like, hey, you owe us this amount of money. Yeah, when I get it, I'll call you. And you never call them. That's just the fun part of it. But what I'm saying is, whether you have money, and you know I would never condone you going out, borrow money to invest. No, no, no. That shows a lack of sacrifice. That shows a lack of discipline. I believe with your current job and your current income, you have the amount of money, at least $50 a month to invest. I know you do. So there's something in your financial portfolio that you are splurging on, that you're spending too much money on, whether it be your everyday coffee, you going out and buying your everyday lunch, you're taking happy hour too many times a week. I guarantee for most people, I can free up $50 to $100 of spending. Very, very easy. Whether it be I go through your shopping list and say, okay, maybe you need to buy organic here and not there. Okay, there's a lot of gimmicky things out there that really stops us from investing. It really stops us from investing because it's actually one of the most important aspects of your finances. And you're going to ask, why is that? Most people can't save enough money to retire. Can I say that again? Most people cannot save enough money to retire. What does that mean? You're going to be working just like your parents until the day you die. Have you noticed that everybody else, you're like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm retired. Oh, you don't do anything? No, I just sit in my house, travel once or twice a year, and have a great time with the rest of my life. I don't work at all. And some of you like, well, I like my job. Yeah, you like your job now. Maybe you're 30, maybe you're 40, maybe you're 50. But when you start getting to 60 and 70 and 75 and your knees and your joints and arthritis and inflammatory that, and maybe you just be lucky enough to be one of the healthiest people in the world at that age. But more times than not, more people start to have a lot of ailments in their elderly years. You don't want to be getting up, have to report to somebody who's half your age, not even half your age. Nowadays, it's quarter your age. Here you are 65 and here they are 25. Because you didn't do the right thing for yourself, not even for your family. Okay, we're not even talking about your family, people. We're talking about for you. You didn't save enough. You didn't invest enough for you to have a great life in your retirement. This is the reality that we live in. So, if most people can't save enough for retirement, how about instead, when you invest, your money compounds and grows at a much faster rate? That's why I love teaching investing, because it's one of the most important things after getting out of debt, saving, and then investing. Now, my hope is that eventually money compounds enough that all of us can retire, because that is the goal. Now, a recent survey that I was reading discovered that the average family believes they'll need about 1.9 million to retire comfortably. Now, some of you are like, oh man, that's a lot of money. But see, this is accumulative. This is how, you save up for those shoes. You save up for that video game. You save up for your favorite suit, or whatever you guys are saving for, your favorite TV, your favorite computer, whatever it may be. We save up for mere materialistic things that's not going to assist us in our elderly years. But the average family, they're talking about going to need about 1.9 million. Now, maybe you're not as brash as that, but most people, the number one number when it comes to retirement is $1 million. So if you're not saving towards your retirement, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Now, let's tell you the reality of things, because unfortunately, the average family also only has about $255,000 in retirement accounts. That's it, $250,000. So they have a long goal that they're far, far away from. Because I remember, you can also invest in non-retirement taxable brokerage accounts. You don't have to just go straight into individual stocks. You still have your 401ks, your IRAs, and then of course your individual bonds. Okay, so there's many ways to invest. When some people tell me that investing is too complicated, I say, come on over to Ross World. I have over 1,000 financial videos that you guys can watch in one day, pun intended, but you guys can watch over the course of time and learn a lot about investing, savings, and getting out of debt. Now, basic things like investing 101, asset allocation, time horizon, and I know you guys understand, asset allocation, how you divide your assets up across all your investment, or time horizon, the number of years before you expect to need the money you're investing. Time horizon. Time horizon is just another cool word of retirement projection. That's all it is. Time horizon, retirement projection. How much do I believe I'm going to spend and or when I'm going to retire based upon my retirement account, based upon the projection, okay? Time horizon, number of years before you expect to need the money when you invest. Then the one thing I've been preaching for a very long time, diversification. And basically, this is the practice of spending your money across many different investments. Then last but not least, what most people really care about is risk tolerance. Like, man, if I put in $5, I don't want to lose my $5. See, with anything, there's always a risk and reward factor. It don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're buying a home. It doesn't matter if you're going on a date. There is a risk factor in everything, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing is 100%. Okay, as some people would say, death and taxes. But other than that, nothing is 100%. You can give your child the best upbringing that possibly imagine. 10 times better than you the way you grew up. He got the best clothes. He goes to the best school. He eats the best food. You put him in the best programs. He can still be a bum. There's nothing 100%. That's the point I'm getting at. Because your ability and willingness to lose money in the stock market is very, very possible. That's why I teach people safe investment. And then, of course, I tell you those very, very risky investment. Because at the end of the day, the second most investment, or the very first most investment, let me go back, the very important investment is home ownership, because home ownership is the most common goals in many, many financial topics. After all, home ownership is just about the epitome of the American dream. Some people do not believe if you don't have a home, you're not living the American dream. It was not meant for you to live in a condo by yourself. It was not meant for you to live in an apartment that you're paying somebody else and you're paying off their houses, you're paying off their children's college fund. See, some people are just fine renting. I don't get it. You're not owning anything. And here's the thing. Some people are just going out buying homes to homes. And maybe I'll do a video about, where and when to buy. Because buying a home is also strategic. Like right now, I would tell people, I wouldn't really, some people tell you, if you have the cash, you can go ahead and buy it. But right now, we're in a seller's market. And I wouldn't tell people, you might want to wait till the market cools off. The problem is no one knows when the market is going to cool off. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, houses are going for, let me give you an example. I bought my home for $390. My home was worth $550 in a year. I talked to another buddy of mine. His house raised $11,000 in 1 year. That's absolutely crazy. So what I'm saying is you might just want to pause, wait, or see if there's a great deal out there somewhere, because maybe it is, but a lot of the markets are hot. People from New York are moving down to the south. They're moving to Georgia, they're moving to Florida, they're moving to Texas. People from the west, like California, majority, and some people up and down the western seaboard, like Oregon and Washington, they're moving over to Tennessee and Texas, okay? So we have to be very cognizant of how things are moving, because up northeast and California are getting astronomically expensive. Now, when it comes to home ownership, Excuse me, family. I'm sorry about that. When it comes to home ownership, a home is incredibly expensive when you look at the national average of home costs. Now, I remember back in 2006, I had a home that cost me around 180 around the Austin area in Texas when I was stationed here. But now the average cost of a home, and I'm talking about in most states other than Louisiana, homes are around $276,000. When I was in Washington State, I bought my home for $317,000. That's $317,000. I believe that the square footage was around 2,400, yeah, around 2,400 square feet. And that was already $317. And like I told you, this home I bought for $390. So the average cost of homes are going up no matter where you live. And again, I moved back to Texas. So depending on where you live, the local average can easily exceed that by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? So there's a few things I want you to keep in mind of when you're when you're going about buying a home. Only buy what you can afford. I mean, a general rule of thumb is that your housing cost shouldn't exceed about 30% of your monthly income. Did you hear that? Your housing costs shouldn't exceed about 30% of your income. You can't make no money like that. You can't make money like that when you guys are spending over 30% of your monthly income because no one knows your financial situation like you do. Not even a lender. They will go through all your finances and still can't account for things that are not on the book. I mean, be sure that the monthly payment for your home fits comfortably within your budget. And remember, your monthly costs don't just include your principal and your interest. Oh, baby. You also have to account for home insurance and taxes, which can be more expensive than people realize. Save for a down payment. Save for a down payment. You have to save for a down payment. For most types of loans, you must have a down payment to buy a home. Down payments typically range from 3.5% for an FHA loan to about 20% for a conventional mortgage. You don't necessarily need 20%, but you'll pay private mortgage insurance, that's PMI, private mortgage insurance if you don't put down a smaller down payment. There will also be other upfront costs in addition to the down payment. This is where people like, oh, if you can afford an apartment, you can afford a house. You got a $2,000 rent every month. You can afford a $1,500 house. Don't let people tell you haphazardly without details and combing through your finances if you can afford a home or not. Let a professional, financial advisor, financial coach like myself, okay, go out there and get a financial advisor, CPA, an accountant, or a financial coach like myself to help you to see if you can afford to buy a home even before you qualify. See, it's a difference. In order to buy a home, you need to have the money and you need to qualify. You need to be able to afford it and you need to qualify. What does that mean? Oh yeah, you may make enough money, but you may not qualify with your credit score. You may not qualify with your debt to income ratio. So hopefully we all understand that. There will also, let's just think about it. You have to basically have enough money for your down payment and all other sorts of upfront costs. Like if you live in an HOA, they may ask for that upfront as well. Okay? And then you'll have to qualify. Are you working on your credit score? But of course, that is a video for another day. This is Financial Literacy 101. Welcome back, everybody. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great and wonderful Tuesday. I see you guys on the next one. Peace.